sensitive word. Like this, when you show the nose ring, it stands for a woman. Yeah, you show the nose ring because like Indians, right from like time immemorial, have worn nose ring. Nowadays, very few people wear. So this is a woman, right? And man, can you guess what it is? Is this one hand is enough? So you don't have to do well. All of us are clean shaven, so you don't have to do this, but you just have to point there at a man. The woman who is the first in your life is
Mother.
mother.
Mother, yeah.
So this is mother, and
Ah,
this is father.
mother.
This show the mustache place, and this is father. So like you don't have to do this or this. You don't have
Yeah,
to do this. The
yeah,
actual symbol is this, but like you
yeah.
just point it to like understood it as a male.
Got
So
it.
the male who is the first in your life is your father. And when you do this in this much speed, it is
It's
like
mother.
parents.
Yeah.
Parents.
Parents. Ah, got it. Oh,
This is the parents.
yeah,
Yeah.
got it.
So like just goes very fast. So inside a sentence, you are able to pick that up. So it's like my parents are living in Gaon. That's all. So it's like it's a very context sensitive words that you have to. So there are multiple words that can fit, but by and large, if you don't understand, you have to ask them to repeat, and they will repeat, right? And so this is the I said woman. This is the man, and when you do this, it is your sibling
Sibling.
who's equal to you.
Ah, and
Okay?
then brother.
So this is your sister,
Got it.
and this is your brother,
Got it.
right? And this I have to go a little far and stand up. So this is your son. So you are showing the male, and you are saying कि मेरा पेट से आया.
Yeah.
It's like your son. Sorry, this is this when you show the male, and this is the
Yeah.
son. And you show here it is daughter. And then you show like when you show this children. So these are very uh, context sensitive and like completely mapped with our Indian culture kind of symbols.
Very easy. Very
Very
easy.
easy.
Much
Like you
easier
don't need to
than
know yeah, you don't need to know any background.
ASL.
So that's what when like for our customers at Mirchi, we tell them that आपको जैसे समझ में आया आप बता दो वो समझ लेंगे. Like typically you like they give you a glass of water. For example, your glass of water is not cold and you want ice in it or you want cold water. Do the gesture the way you want. Like there can be various things. So you can just hold the glass and say ki, just make some face and say, and then he will give you the right sign and say ki ठंडा चाहिए तो ठंडा चाहिए. So the symbol for ice is this is the symbol for I
Ah,
and this is the cubes.
got it.
So you do this, it is a ice cubes.
I
So
see.
ice and ice cubes.
I
So
see.
you can point the glass and just say ki, I want ice.
Got it.
Or you can just say ki, I want cold water. So whatever way you say, they will give you the correct gesture and they will be able to do it.
Thank you. We've got many
Also,
questions.
a
Sorry.
little psychology
Yeah.
behind this is all
Yeah.
of us have known sign language between the age of, is the video frozen?
No, we can see you. Hello.
Can you?
Yeah, we can see you.
Yeah, it is frozen, it seems. But we can hear you, Mr. Reddy.
I think maybe Mr. Eddy will come back. But thank you so much, everyone, for all these amazing questions. And I think we're going to get to those. Pooja, you're keeping track of time, right? How much time do we have?
Yes, we have about 20 minutes now.
Okay, so then I think
Yeah, we can move to questions.
we can move to questions. Yeah, these are amazing. Anyone going to Singapore? That was my dialogue of the day. Pooja, you also froze because you don't want to hear my jokes.
No, I'm here. I'm just checking on Mr. Reddy.
Ha ha ha. So, Kinnari, I think the question of truly contributing and that was addressed, right? I mean, I don't think anyone, any organization, yes, I don't think these are token hires, but I think as Mr. Reddy said, how do we make sure that we give? Thank you, Mr. Reddy.
Oh, I think I only disconnected. I think.
Yes, it's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
So there are many questions actually, Mr. Reddy. Can we, I don't know if you can see them, but maybe I'll start by reading them out to you.
Yeah.
So the first is, how do I welcome someone who is PWD to my team when they join? I do want to help, but I don't want to overstep, but I do want to be welcoming and supportive. So what is the right thing for me to do? And then can I just give you, one which is linked to that by Anupriya, which said, how is it important for organizations to engage with staffs that may not have a special need? One bit is creating, plans and, opportunities for those who are disabled. But in this course of this, do organizations, how do they also engage with other staff who may not have, at least that's what I'm understanding from the question in terms of that. So I think both are in a sense about engaging with employees.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I would like to go back to the three things that I've mentioned. One is have a community. The moment you have a community, this challenge will not come. Step number one. But notwithstanding that, PWDs don't want help as such. Normally, our understanding is, for example, if a blind person is holding a pen and it falls from his hand, we just bounce on the pen and we give it back to the person, and we feel good as if like you helped the person. But they get it very differently. They think that you are telling them loud and clear, अरे तू देख नहीं सकता इसीलिए मैं पेन उठा के आपको दे रहा हूँ. So they don't want any help. So before helping any PWD, ask them if they need help. Only if they say yes, then help them. Things like opening doors or things like trying to go a step forward and going, because invariably what happens is when you see a disabled, instead of the sense of equality coming out, the sense of pity comes. So when you operate from pity, you're automatically saying like, I'm here and you're here, you need help. So I'm here to help. So you better take my help. That is how the engagement happens. So the way to be equal is like you don't even look at helping them as such, right? So that is the easiest way to get them equal to you. So it's like you just ignore them and like they will interact with you. So any which way, that way. But don't go all out to help them, because when you help them, they think that you are telling them that oh तुमको नहीं आता है, तुम नीचे हो. So that is the first step.
But then at an organization level, though, Mr. Reddy, I think some facilities are needed, right? So if you're like a ramp, for example, for those who might be on wheelchairs, or software or things like that. So I think that basics one needs to do, right?
Right. So those are more the physical things, and like you can always do those things. In fact, those are the easiest ones. By spending a little bit of money, you will get those things done. But more importantly is the emotional welcoming rather than the physical welcoming. Physical welcoming, I'm not even going there because those are the easiest ones. Like if you're having deaf people, then you have lights instead of say your sirens or something, for emergency, etc. Those kind of things. Those are I would say are given any which way. But again, one suggestion what I would give is like, as an organization, just focus on one PWD, because then you will be able to do justice. Going all over the place, it becomes very difficult, and also they won't be comfortable saying like, oh, they will say, okay, you're employing PWDs, but then they are not able to build a community. So it may not work really well. So just choose blind or choose deaf or choose whatever, or motor disability, something like that.
Thank you. Thank you. There are other questions also.
Yeah.
How do organizations measure their effectiveness of inclusion efforts such as these? Like what metrics would you use and how do you measure it, say, at your various organizations?
यही तो गलत है ना. Why do you want to measure? By means मतलब
Because
the thing is
our bosses ask us to measure.
so this is the most wrong thing to do, because you know what you're telling. You're telling कि I am taking effort to do this. It is not an effort. You'll never be able to do it in the mainstream. So if it is in the mainstream, you don't need to measure. Like typically managers, suppose the manager has got 10 people and out of 10, you give them 2 deaf or 2 blind people. The manager ends up asking his boss ki, अरे मुझे target 8 लोगों का देना, 2 deaf है ना, उनका target मत दो. That is the wrong thing. So the whole thing of like measuring effectiveness, we should, I know your bosses are asking for it, but, or our bosses ask, but that is because then you're objectifying the entire PWDs. In fact, a lot of people come to me and say, we want to interview your people. I say, no, you'll not interview them. Because by interviewing them, you're telling them, oh, you're deaf. That's why I'm giving you this attention. And I want to cover you in the press because you're doing good work. No, I'm not doing any good work. They are equal to us. They're equal to us. But Bhagwan ne unko kuch something nahi diya, and we have given them work outside of that requirement. So they're equal to us. So I mean, my sincere suggestion to organizations is don't go into this evaluation of effectiveness, because then that trickles down saying like कि वो कैसा काम कर रहा है उसका evaluation. Whatever evaluation you're doing with the able people, do the same performance appraisal. Don't have any difference.
That's super useful. Thank you. I want to, I know we have some time left. Tell us about Eklavya Foundation and how you've tied it with some of the other ventures, because it's quite fascinating.
Yeah. So Eklavya Foundation, we basically started because I mean, at that time we had 3 restaurants and we had some of the community members come to us and say कि और भी बहुत सारे बच्चे हैं, इनको भी नौकरी में लगाओ, ये करो, वो करो. And हमने बोला कि we are not doing a social venture where we can give them naukris just we are doing a profit making venture, including we throw away, we sack people, and all those things happen in our organ, in Mirchi and Mine. While it may not appear for the customers from that way, but if somebody is not following the rules, not following the rules, we throw them out like normal people, right? So having said that, we said like we need to create some kind of a platform where these people are able to work or something. That's when I visited several corporates. I visited over 30 or 40 corporates, given them presentations and told them to take deaf people. And we had about 20-25 companies who have agreed to take deaf people. So we did, instead of normally what you do is like you find a vacancy and recruit and then you give to the company. We changed the format. We said like we will get 20 people, we'll get 10 people and come to your office and then train them there on the job and deploy and then hand over to your managers and then we go. We did that for about a year and close to about 150 people got placed in various companies, including Amazon, Farm Easy and Godrej, etc., Godrej, Nature's Basket, etc., etc. But what we observed after 3 to 4 months is they all left. They all left for these 3 reasons. One is they didn't have a good enough sized community to work with. Second, they were always paired along with the speaking people. So the manager always found it easy to assign the work to the speaking people and ignore these people, etc., etc. So they felt completely disoriented and they left. That's when we decided that why don't we train them on vocational skills so that they're able to get self-employed. So therefore, Eklavya Foundation's whole objective is to provide vocational training that will lead to self-employment, so that you are not dependent on a manager for your employment. You're not dependent on a manager for your day-to-day work assignment, etc., etc. You are able to create your own work at your own leisure, at your own pace, because again, everybody doesn't want to do the work. And all said and done, PWDs, the negative aspect is they have a sense of entitlement. Like they think that unko sab mil jana chahiye, which organizations need to understand and play to it. They don't have to counter it, they have to play to it. The second thing that PWDs, I would say, don't have is this association between a work that you're doing and the lifestyle it generates. All of us, as we started a career, right from like say when you're 20 or 21 or 22, when you started a work, you were constantly worried that मुझे पगार मिल रहा है, इसके लिए मुझे ये काम करना है, और if I do make some mistakes, they will throw me out and I won't have this. और ये पगार नहीं होगा, ये पगार नहीं होगा तो ये लाइफस्टाइल जो है, बाइक खरीदना है, मुझे समथिंग खरीदना है, मम्मी के लिए साड़ी खरीदनी है, जो भी है वो नहीं हो पाएगा. So this association was so strongly stuck in our mind that we kept working better and better, learning more and more. Unfortunately for the deaf people, and more so with most PWD, they don't have this association. So they do not link that this is leading me to a lifestyle, right? So therefore, their working is not to create a career. Their working is like they just want to work today. That way. And therefore, organizations need to understand this and make the best of that.
Linked to that is Brini's question about, so based on this, how do we arrive at work roles? Are there established methods for us to actually map work roles where PWD can be placed and then can perform to the optimum based on what you just said, based on their own aspirations and these insights that you provided, so that it is a win-win for both the organization and the employee?
Yeah, so there are some low-hanging fruit that we can logically come up with. Basically, logistics is one that comes up very, very easily. Graphic design, I have a graphic designer here. In fact, there's one boy who came to join as a waiter, but then we discovered that he knew Adobe Photoshop and all that, so we put him as a graphic designer here. So that comes very, very easily for them. So working, which is like a standalone activity where you don't need to interact at every transaction level. So every organization will have that. So it's easy to identify those, and once you identify those, earmark those for the deaf people or any other disability, and then we can assign those roles to those people. So it's not difficult, but there is different activity that needs to be done.
Thank you. Thank you. There's a question about lip reading. But before, and about, whether if it is an effective way to communicate and whether we should train. So if you want to quickly answer that, but just following up on that, Pushkar has also asked something about how, inadequate job identification and inappropriate assignment of work really hampers so many PWDs. So I think it's what you were saying earlier as well, right? About how can you...
Yeah. So coming to the lip reading, it is a misconception that they can read lips. They actually cannot read lips, except for those people who have been formally educated or who have lost hearing later on in life due to a medical reason. The people who are born deaf, they cannot do lip reading, and people who haven't been through formal education, they cannot do lip reading.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you two future-oriented questions. One was about, technology. Right now we have all these technologies, whether it is AI, and so many incredible, a lot of software, I mean, really is advancing at a rate never heard of before. So how can technology enable this inclusion? And the second is also linked to, the G20, and I know Nidhi, and there were so many others. There was a full special working group on people with disabilities in the lead up to G20. So these kind of global gatherings in which PWD is recognized as a valuable human resource. With both of these, how do you think of the future of PWD inclusion, maybe 10 years down the line, with technology and an increasing global thrust towards it?
Yeah, technology has already started participating. I mean, I would say getting into the lives of disabled, especially with the deaf. WhatsApp calling has been their biggest boom. WhatsApp video calling. Right. So whenever they want to talk to anybody, they just open the video call, talk to their parents, talk to somebody, which was not possible at all earlier. So WhatsApp video calling. So video calling itself has been a big boon, and with WhatsApp we have it in our hands. Plus, I've met a couple of entrepreneurs who are trying to make a handheld glove kind of thing where your gestures can get converted to sound, etc. But still, commercially viable product is still not available. that may take a little while to come into place. Another entrepreneur I met, it's called We Here. What he's done through his research is the hearing ability. Basically, there are 4 stages to hearing. The first is the ear canal, then there are some bones, and then there is the diaphragm, and then there is the nerve, etc., which finally carries the signal, the sound signal to the brain. Uh, Even if the level 1, level 2, level 3 are not working, we can use the bone, which is the part of the skull, which is just in front of the ear, to conduct. So there are bone conduction headphones. If you check on Amazon, there are bone conduction headphones. So he's made a special headphones using bone conduction technology. Almost about 60 to 70% of the deaf people are able to use the bone conduction to hear, because the last segment, which is the nerve that is picking up the signal, is still active. So if you bypass the entire ear canal, they can use the bone conduction to do that. That headphone, the retail price is costing about 40,000. Maybe a couple of years or maybe a few years, it may come down, or if some sponsors pick that up, it may come down. That should help at least 50% of the deaf people to hear, because then you are bypassing the ear canal channel to hear. So several of these technologies are coming. Coming to the G20, India lacks a lot on infrastructure for the PWDs. Only because there are so many able people who don't have jobs, able people who don't have schools, able people who don't have hospitals. So like by the time unka number aayega, to put time hi lag jayega. So a few activists are working actively with the government. So some things are getting done. And I think a little bit of PPP, public-private partnerships, or smaller organizations, like including say somebody like ours, are trying to do small things in our small way, where we can help getting people to the mainstream.
Thank you so much. If there's any last question at this point, yeah, and Pooja is also messaging that. And this is a good time to ask, or if Mr. Reddy, is there anything you want to ask us at Godrej in terms of, you know, some of the things that we might have done? Because Pooja, do you want to share a little bit about the partnership that we are doing while we wait maybe for last questions to come? There's so much that I've taken away from this conversation already, from something as simple as WhatsApp to so many other things. So yeah, let's just keep these last few minutes for reflections or any other questions. Yeah.
So we are partnering with Eklavya Foundation on partnering on our beauty services. So this is tying into our Salonai program at Godrej Consumer Products, which is basically empowering and training women on skills in beauty and wellness. And that's how we are partnering with the Eklavya Foundation and the salon that they are running in Mumbai. Please feel free, Mr. Reddy, to share the address of the salon. Some of us are in Mumbai over here who are on the call. They would love to join and take a visit at the salon. So it's exclusively run by deaf hairstylists and hair.
But who are women? So it's intersection of women and
we have half and half. We have half speaking and half deaf people. Because most of them, they don't do independent services, but they do assisting to somebody else. They're also capable of, like pedicure, manicure. They're able to do independent services without any intervention. This is called Mirror and Mime. It is in Lake Homes in Chandivali. For those from Bombay, if you anytime visit, then you can experience yourself. And Mirchi and Mime, Madhura and Mime, I'm sure most of you must have already been to the place.
And for those at Vikhroli, Godrej and Chandivali is not far. Maybe we can do a self-care trip together where we can go to Mirror and Mime, do a beauty routine, and then go to dinner at Mirchi and Mime.
That is nice.
As a group. And I think it'll be great fun. Come on, we're going to organize that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a plan. We should work something out.
Mr. Reddy, thank you so much for your incredible work. Your various startups that have really changed our country so much. And just for your warmth and love and affection and collaboration. It's been a real pleasure having this conversation. And we are really blessed at Godrej to be associated with you.
Thank you so much, Parmesh. I'll share the PDF file of the sign language dictionary with Kinnari. She can share it with whoever wants. It's a very, very easy read, so you can just go through it.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining in. And even with the technical glitch, thank you so much for returning to the webinar. Thank you, Parmesh. Thank you, Mr. Reddy.